Okay, everybody, so sadly I'm changing up the plans for the mock again, and the new plan, or what I'm going to be changing, is removing a 20 by 70 section right here, pretty much just shrinking the length and making it more of a square. For two main reasons. The first one is this, of course, takes up my entire desk, which makes it hard to work on other things, which I want to start putting out some other smaller mocks, and it's very hard to do on this little table here. And so that's the main reason. Other reason is just very expensive with how much dark tan I'm going to need. This is like all my wedge plates you're seeing, so I need like twice, almost triple, and they're pretty expensive. So I've decided to redo this whole thing, Sith Temple. Also, I realized that Sith temples are triangular, or usually like a pyramid, very sharp angles, and this is round and gonna be pretty much a dome, so doesn't really match the Sith temple vibe. And I will still be doing a separatist base. I'm going back to that idea and just kind of integrating it into more of a hill, mountain, cliff, instead of my original idea, which was like the base with a camouflage top. That would have been way too complicated. Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 7 of building Felucia in LEGO. And in this episode, as you can see, we mostly just work on the base, and I'll talk about that more in the update. And the plan for it is pretty huge. It takes up a good corner of the mock, and as well as that, I get all the filler bricks and 2 orders in. Okay everybody, so as you can see, I received actually 2 more bricklink orders, one of which is 220 yellow 2x4 bricks, and the second order being comprised mostly of dark tan terrain pieces, as well as a few dark bluish gray and light bluish gray pieces that would have been used for the temple that I actually found a pretty good use for in the separatist base. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into a building time-lapse. So here, I'm just working on the design of the floor. I decided to go with the same thing I did with the landing platform, make it a little simple. Having some troubles with the dimensions, wasn't perfect. And then here, working on the diagonal section and filling it in. This was probably the hardest part. I decided to put a couple of grills or vents in, kind of just like water drainage or something of that effect. It looks pretty good. I tried to offset it by half a plate, which was pretty difficult for this section for some reason. Then here, I just went with a 6x6 tile. They're super useful. The only downside is there's like the little printing, or little knob on the top that makes it look a little less smooth. And this is where I get to the diagonal section, where I actually figured out I could just use these tiles, these wedge tiles, and I figured out a pretty good way to do that. I started off by kind of making it a little too long. I forgot about the yellow lines, and so had to fix that, and I think it turned out pretty well. This part, getting the slopes to line up correctly, was probably the hardest part, and I still couldn't figure out a good way to fill it in without that small half-plate gap. It was... I don't know, if you have any ideas, leave them down in the comments below. Okay everybody, so progress update. I got all the filler that I need for now to start working on the base, Separatist base, and I started it. I got a nice floor down, which you saw in the time-lapse, as well as some greebling I'm really happy with, especially this with these saws. I really like that. This side is just a little simpler, just kinda some random tiles and stuff, but this side I'm really happy with. I also got some other pipes over on that wall, and then just some details on this one. I wanted them to be kind of symmetrical. This room is kind of just gonna be filled with some battle droids that are marching out through what is going to be a 10 stud hallway, so I'll probably have maybe like 3 rows of droids through like the entire hallway, and it'll be like not a hangar door, but it'll look like a hangar door, and just smaller. I made 0 progress on the shuttle. I'm kind of waiting until I can get some other stuff, and I'm kind of at a point where I don't have anything else to do to work on that. I got this pretty clean, and I'm gonna do one more room on this side that's about 8 studs wide, same height, just kinda something small, some cool detail, and then another one on this side that'll be like, I don't know, maybe like 16 studs wide. They're pretty small rooms, but just to add some more detail. And the mountain will go up, and I'm hoping to maybe put a second story on this. I'm thinking it maybe elevator in this little section, and then a second story. But that I'm not too sure about yet. And so, sadly, that is all the progress I made. And so, the last thing I want to talk about is, if you have not seen my latest video, or the last video I uploaded, the PLINKO board, Lego PLINKO board mock challenge, I said in that video that I'd announce the winner in this episode of Felucia, and as of now, which is the end of voting, the medieval mock actually won, which I'm a little surprised about. Sadly, that is all I got done in this episode, and hopefully next episode I want to finish the whole top of the shuttle and the back, so I just have that bottom. And I want to get the hallway done, and preferably start the other 2 rooms so I can start building up the mountain. And then hopefully get this corner of terrain work done, because I want to be able to put at least some of those in. They take up a lot of space and they fall apart easily. So that is what will happen next episode, and if you did enjoy, please consider liking and subscribing, and see you guys in the next episode of Building Felucia.